culture. Previously, I mentioned we have three frameworks for the risk culture. Now I will come one by one. The IRM framework, it is Institute of Risk Management, UK. The foundation has made for the risk management. There is some set of rules. We know as we are in the risk management domain working in that, we know the principles, guidelines, and governance, what are the procedures and controls. These are to be aligned with the organization strategy. So for that, we have set some set of procedures to follow. Likewise, the IRM framework has given some identities and ideologies to manage the risk culture. By following a risk conscious culture that aligns with the strategic objective. Integrating IRM practices for a collaboration among departments, breaking down silos, and promoting a unified approach to risk management. Because as we are in the risk management domain, we are not at the single point of and isolated. We have to interconnect with the all departments. We need data from the all departments, right from the HR, right from the academics, right from L&D, right from the top management. So we need to be the cross-functional enablement, cross-functional support to get our desired result. That is the main concept why we are in the risk domain. Not only enhance the organization, but also give the performance improvement. The performance, irrespective of the designation you are, that will give the what is the proactive approach you made it in the organization, that will give the impact of the overall development of the your department and the adjacent departments. Because now you can see the risks are not alone for this single department, that is interconnected to one by one. So one we can't say okay that department has made some mistake, they that is their headache. That is not the case in the risk management domain, because as a risk professionals, we should aware that the whatever the interconnected links happening in the future and the coming, because by we are seeing the anyhow we are doing the risk register everything. So by seeing the historical data, we'll go back to the basics and foundations. Then we'll understand what is the overall culture in the organization. From there, we'll come to the upon individuals level. Now, this RMS, this is in the risk Institute of Risk Management and Insurance and Management Services. It is from USA. That is also given the risk culture and maturity means because some culture, some organizations are not yet to the start the risk framework. Now some are going to the middle of, some in the mature level. So these, whatever the level of risk management, it is showing the work guidelines. So by employing a RIM scheme, I can develop a culture with risk part of everyday business conversation. Because in the operation of day-to-day work, it will give the impact of our nature. Or may provide the idea that it's not just a compliance requirement, but a strategic advantage in today's competitive world. Because some people is compliance, because in compliance and governance, we are in the space of GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. It is we should be in the go hand in hand. So, so we need to abide by the laws for the internal audit also, because we need to comply with the audit recommendations as well, because that will give the impact of the resilience of the company. Engagement with the RMS helps identify emerging risk and adopt the strategy accordingly. There is so much now in the coming last quarter of risk trends coming from the last of many institutes like Gartner and PwC and McKinsey. They cultivated the ESG is the most, because environmental sector is the most trending risk in the coming future. That is giving so emerging risk, because that is risks are not permanent and not one time. That is keep on evolving day to day. We should be able to tackle the what are the because we need to foresee and foresight the risk happening in our business domain. Because business domain is not one size does not fit to all, because one culture does not fit to all organizations. Because for that we need to understand the basics of business and what that technology what that business is using. Now it comes to the ISO 31000 global standard. It international regard establishing, implementing and maintaining effective risk management within organization. This gives the complete framework for the how we to establish, how to implement and maintaining effective risk management. It gives the end step by step process how to implement, what the people comes, where the people comes, where the management comes, where the team will come, where the collaborations will come. That complete framework it will designed by the ISO, because we need to abate for the risk management, because the company should ultimately the company should be evolved as a global leader ultimately. The framework advocates for the risk management process that is integrated into organization governance structure, creating a common risk language. In the risk culture, it is the most communication as we need to go. We should be in the common, we are the right phase, and we should be aligned with the all coverage. In the common risk language, we should be in the talk in the same analogy, same topic with the other peers also. Then only we can understand and easily to in the same phase. Adopting ISO 31000 enables organization to prioritize risk management across all functions, ensuring comprehensive coverage and alignment with the strategic goals. And also, it focuses on continuous improvement in the risk landscape and enhance the resilience. Now, I will come up with this some interesting statistics now for the takeaways from the risk culture. Are we able to see the screen that takeaway is there? Executive behavior is seen as the major indicator of cultural risk. Here, what it is telling, the top management is the key in the risk culture evolvement in the department. Because one saying is there, king is there, he needs to guide the people. The same way in the present era, the organization should follow the top executives. The culture is first within the top management, then comes to the layer. Now it is showing 68% of the poor tone at the top executive don't live values. There is a still only 32% are abide by the risk culture. Here, what my concern is, we want to change this culture, because culture means you and me and my colleague and your colleague and adjacent people, your friends. So we should be all interconnected. We should be in all the single phase of task. Then only we can achieve the good risk culture in the organization. Only means 32% only has a risk aware, because we know we should not be in the risk averse or risk mitigated. The culture and common language should be in the good risk culture. The next three highest rankings should indicate executives employer not living the values are 51% of the respondents identify profit at any cost mentally, because company is seeing only profit. Then the culture and what we can say, toxic culture made the organizations with a less profit. 46% has responded poor communication skill, because there once we need to reach the executives, top executives, we have to follow many layers, leads, top leaders and programmers and all. So the hierarchy should reduce whatever the risk persona and risk uh, department has direct access to the CEO and CX people. Then we can communicate easily to the top management what is the reality in the ground level. Because as a risk practitioners, we know that what is the pain points and what we need to correct. Then we need to communicate properly. But it is still a gap. And 46% of respondents identified unethical, illegal conduct without accountability. Here, we need accountability and ownership for our own jobs, because one should aware that roles and responsibilities what I am, as a Prasad, what I have to do, and what some X, what I have to do. The roles and responsibilities should be defined, and there would not be deviations, and that then only we can get the risk culture approach in the mindset. The mindset is itself is a risk culture. Organizations identify employee behavior as the most valuable benefit of the healthy culture, but maybe overlooking long-term strategic benefit. Here, 38% of restaurants selected higher levels of employee engagement, satisfaction, and well-being. Here, we know how many organizations are doing this practice, but it is a common and healthy culture, we can call it as. Still, 62% is a skill gap. We need to be, as a risk practitioner, we should be focused on our practices in the organizations. And also, what is the security culture? Because we are into risk domain, security, we can take it as a whole comprehensive approach as a security, because we are overseeing the security domain as well. For that reason, what we should be inculcate the feelings, emotions means attitudes, behavior, cognition, communication, compliance, norms, and responsibilities. We should be embed these seven qualities in ourselves to get the desired resilience risk culture among the organizations, because the culture change should start from one, that will multiply by seeing one another, that will give the big impact in the coming future. I hope this will give you some idea on what the risk culture, what is the concept of risk culture we should follow. Now, I want to convey why I interconnected the three frameworks. Actually, we've seen the IRM and RMS and ISO 331,000 frameworks, because the framework is customizable for the different business needs. Once we interconnected, whatever the gap points in the one framework will lead to the complete, holistic, and robust framework for the risk culture in the one organization. Comprehensive risk strategy that spans the entire organization. Each complements the other. Here, we can't say it is a competition. We can complement each other, because there is no right or wrong, but the mindset should be in the align with the objective of the company. That should made us the decision making skill and resource allocation. Organization benefit of applying diverse perspective, ensuring that risk is managed effectively across all functions and department. I know we know we are working in different departments, HR, project management, and all risk domains, and we should be interconnected, and we have diverse perspective according to the functions. For that, we need to open discuss that what is the possible risk happening in the in and around world in the global perspective, so that we'll be well prepared for ourselves to tackle the budget. We'll tackle the risk, because we can say that now it is a different concept evolving that business continuity. So whatever happening, the business should not follow the critical path. Critical path and the critical services of the company should not stop at any stage. The integration enhances the agility and prepares team to respond swiftly to the challenges. The fostering risk-aware mindset, engaging employees to at all level embrace risk as a vital part of the roles. How we can get the risk-aware mindset? For that, the the moment that one employee is onboarded in the risk department or any functional department, we should make understand the what is the risk culture and what we are, that team leader and the training should reach to him. The mindset, we need to incorporate the thought process in the new employee, because he is new, he will simply follow what their seniors say. For that reason, the senior should adopt the risk management, risk aware, we can say, risk aware mindset to foster in his mind. Encouraging open dialogue about risk help create an environment where employees feel empowered to voice concern and share insights. Here, where last slide, we seen only 36% as people, companies are giving the voice concerns or the people engagement. There, the problem is coming from the organization's staff management itself. So every organizations, you can be at the take a ownership. Every risk management people will take the ownership of these engagement activities should foster in the every day-to-day life. That will give the leadership and the risk demonstrative value based on proactive risk management. We can see what are the pain points. Now, what are the benefits of strong risk culture? Improved decision making, it turns better equipped to assess and respond to risk at every rise. We are the last 15-20 minutes, we are speaking what are the benefits of that. Now we are coming to the what summarizing that what are the benefits. The robust risk culture leads to improved decision making. The teams better equipped to assess and respond to culture as they arise, because they will well prepared to the how to tackle the scenarios and situations. Experience increased stakeholder confidence, enhancing reputation and attractive investment. We have a concept called pestle and political, geopolitical, and technologicals. The framework is pestle, what we can say, continuous improvement framework. In that, we have to be in the, because any organization, we have to see the ultimate value is business profit. How we can go? We are part of the stakeholder confidence, because once we are in the risk aware and risk averse and risk strong maturity, the stakeholder also will bring the boost up his confidence, and he will also align with the our organization goals. That will ultimately give the reputation in the market. Now that nowadays everyone is running around the reviews. Even if you ride for any bike, or the riders are asking a reviews, and even any services you are taking, they are instantly they are asking for the reviews. What they are asking? Because that give the reputation, because face of value they don't know anything. Outer world, when you book the like you take the example of Amazon. Once you search for any events or any items, we'll see the reviews, what are the ratings. Same way, the in the outer light, a big structure, we can say organization level, the reputation will stay if it is not in the risk culture base. Employees are likely to feel more engaged and valued in the environment that prioritizes risk management and open communication. All of us as field society at some point of time. So I have my good thoughts. I am unable to express to the top management, and I need to go to the top management. Everyone failed, even I self. So that indicate there is some barrier to meet the CEOs or CX leaders. Through leads also we will go. The communication will ultimately, and the credit goes to the team lead. What the first front face only the reach the CX, not the exact ideation person, the argent. They won't see the argent person. Okay, is some X is telling the same, but ultimately CX is what saying. Whatever the end user telling the what are the risk, the thought, they only recognize. So now onwards, we will cultivate the habit of this risk culture and disengagement in the organizations, so that our future generations and present generations, whatever you're working a peer group, they should aware of, we can become a role model itself, you can say. Effective risk management contributes to our resiliency, allowing business to bounce back from the setbacks more efficiently. Ultimately, a strong risk culture lays the groundwork for long-term success and sustainability. Now, the business is prepared such a way that it should be run in a sustainable model, because we should be in a diversified skill set among the team players. So the risk culture, it will prepare the groundwork for the long-term success, and the business will continue forever. The sustainable foundation should lay from the culture within ourselves. As a risk practitioner, this is our responsibility to prepare the ground for the good awareness in the team, in the class collaboration with the other departments, functional departments as well. Okay, now we speak in a positive way. Then we comes to challenges, how to in the building risk culture. Now we discussed some points, but at point wise we can discuss as a summary. Despite the benefits, organizations often face changes in strong culture, resistance to change or lack of awareness. Here, the resistance to change, that everyone should be in the agility mode, such that we need to adapt the new changes. But it is a mindset shift, the individual decisions to adapt the new changes. That comes within and keep on pump up for this. Addressing cultural barriers require tailored communication strategies that resonate with all employees regardless of role. Many companies don't know who is the CEO and who is top management apart from next reporting managers. That should not be happen. In the coming time, that barrier is there. So we need to cut down the hierarchy levels in a top-down approach. Leadership commitment is essential to overcome challenges and drive the integration of risk management into the organization priority. Regular assessment can help identify gaps in risk and ensuring continuous improvement and development of the targeted initiatives. We know risk assessment, how you are doing. At the same time, we need to do the assessment for the gaps, whether there are gaps in the technology, whether there are gaps in the knowledge, where there are gaps in the process. Everyone should brainstorm and will come to the common conclusion, because as a class culture itself, it is saying it is a common understanding for the common cause. So we need to be target that initiatives. Engagement and participation across various functions is key to creating a unified risk-aware organization. Now, am I going fast, or it is? Can I slow down?
No, it's okay. It's okay, Mr. Prasad. Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank,
Yeah.
thank you. Now we see the successful risk culture. What are the case studies we can go? Examining the case studies of organization which provides valuable lessons on best practice and strategies, because everyone wants success. What the successful? We are inspired by the success. So we'll see some of the risk culture, how they made it. The case studies often highlight the importance of leadership commitment, employee engagement, and ongoing training in risk management. Risk management and training should not be the one day task or 1 week task. It should be the day to day and 365 days, 24 hours and 7 days. Thus, the feeling should adapt in the one's mindset. Successful organizations leverage a framework like IRM, MIRAMS, and ISO to get a cohesive risk management approach that drives the result. Okay, it is our intentions to go for one framework.
For this point, Mr. Prasad, for
Yeah.
the different frameworks which you mentioned already, the IRM, the RIMS, and the
Yes.
ISO
Yeah.
31, and also there is a NIST
Yes. This framework
837.
also. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, the questions which is always arise on this scenario
Yeah,
to
exactly.
adopt a cascaded risk culture. I mean, with your communication plan, how
Yes.
you integrate all these frameworks into a culture base. I
Yeah.
mean, in another way, for the same question,
Yeah.
let's say that the ISO 31, it depends on ISO 27005, right? Which is
Yes. Yes.
also
Correct.
engaged on the same one, as well as the
Yes.
37 for the NIST. So basically, these frameworks are American, let's say. It comes from American side, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
we have different culture here in Middle East, in India. And by the way, I
Yeah.
have studied in India for 5 years. I know India very well.
Correct.
So more
Correct.
likely, yeah, Indian cultures are like Middle East culture. So
Almost
to
will go
adopt,
hand hand. Yes.
absolutely, to adopt such frameworks and make it cascaded. I mean, from the executive top up to the lower employment. Okay,
Yes.
how we can get a roadmap for that? I mean, how from your perspective, how
Yes.
you start and how you automate it inside the business concept as well.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell. Actually, whatever the frameworks we are discussing, IRMR, NIMS or ISO, anything, and NIST even, so they are prepared as per their localized government's compliance and regulatory framework base. So we should not take the all the principles, all the controls from them. Only we need whatever the prime need and critical risks it is happening in our local conditions that we need to alter. The base layer should be same, but how we adapt to the localized condition, we have to sit with the local governance or registrations or regulatory affairs. We are taking care of our government. Even for banks or some other people is there. For data, I mean some investments, some other regulatory body is there. So we have to sit with them and we need to discuss with them what is the most criticality in their frameworks. Then we need to copy paste the scenarios in this. The outline should be same. We need to be as a role model, or we can take it an example. So there is a lot of step by step involvement in their frameworks once they build them. So we need to check whether it is generally need or is rightly need for our organization. No, that customization will happen everywhere. That we can do as a risk management, because by taking the recommendation from the internal audit in our third lines of defense in the what we can do regular practice. Once the recommendation comes from the internal audit, we'll sit what is the improvement areas we can focus. That points we need to check with the comparison analysis with the all frameworks. Is there any common grounds among with them? And we'll incorporate the same tools with the localized conditions. One
Yeah,
point.
correct,
That is one
correct.
way. That
Yeah,
is one way. And second way is because it is customary with the organization also, even for industry also. Because one industry is facing a lot of many challenges with one particular area. One industry is particular doing with the other challenges. Then we have to bifurcate even for the department wise and to the industry wise also. These are the benchmark only. These will consider as a benchmark only. Then by taking this benchmark, we adopt these changes in the localized and the particular business case. E-commerces will be different. E-commerce, like example, I can say 2 minutes. Like e-commerce, we have to be in the supply chain management. So we need to be the more focus on the supply chain and third party vendors, because that is a more focused area. When it comes to IT, the security point is more concerned, because we are now in the cloud migration, and many vendors are coming up there. The cloud security or network security is more focused. We need to build on the
and also Mr. Prasad, from ERP perspective,
yeah,
financial risk also include in that.
exactly.
So yeah, the other question, how we can adopt the best practice culture in the Middle East. Let's say
Yeah.
in the Middle East countries or African countries or in Indian or Asian countries, because
Yes.
mostly we are totally different than the West, you know.
Yes.
So
Yes.
uh,
Completely
yeah,
agree.
absolutely. The question here, these modules are done by the Western people, right? But
Yes. Yes.
how we can adopt a framework which is integrated with all other standards, which you mentioned already,
Yes.
into our culture, into our I mean company's culture, ERP system, awareness, communication program, this kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yes. Yes. Actually, I have one idea. Actually, whatever the regulators in our Indian conditions are our Gulf countries and UAE base and even African countries, because the even ISO has made some bifurcation for the countries bifurcation also, countries base also, because some expectations are there from them. So we need to more emphasis on the some factors that
Yes,
made the
you need,
bifurcation also.
you need to
So
emphasize. Yes, yes,
yes,
correct,
yes,
correct.
yes, we need to emphasize on the that specific point of view.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
The future, what is the future of risk culture? As a business landscape evolves, the importance of strong leadership will only continue grow across industries, because uh, we can say India is not much of that risk culture ever evolving. It is still under process. Many companies coming up. Even my strong point is in this risk culture. We need to build the risk culture more. Because I am seeing that during my transition from one job to one job and company different sector. So I see the lot of gap in the risk culture. In there is a lot of scope. Hardly we can say 20% or 15% maturity is there. We have still 80 to 80% we need to adapt. So the future is more in the risk culture itself, because now we can say human engineering, the human mindset and human intelligence we need to adapt. Now, till now, there will be much talk on emotional intelligence and intelligence, or social IQ and all. Now, it is playing a big role to one development of the any organization, personal or professional, both. That will decide the if it is any boy, we can say example is a small boy. Whatever we preach, mother will preach, that the child will follow in the throughout the life. That environment, we need to create that environment, positive environment, we can say, positive and engaging environment that will give and boost to the further generation. We can take this strategy to meet new challenges, including advancement and global uncertainties. The proactive risk culture will be essential for fostering innovation and resilience in an ever-changing environment. Even we can say it is, we know interlink, so we know cross-functional, different functional departments are, yeah, it get complex. Actually, we have one Excel also for that. What are the questions we can prepare for the risk culture framework? Actually, I'll go through that. It is prepared from the Institute of Risk Management UK. That is uniform for the any country. That is common. Only the answerables and deliverables, we need to check answers ourselves. And with it, we have to sit with the top management and executives. Then we'll draw the conclusions. I will show you that Excel. Yeah, my screen is visible.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah, actually, that risk maturity model has completely 8 themes. Actually, by measure, it is tone of the top, governance, competence, and decision making. This is the 4 types. They made it for the different questions, questionnaire, how we will evolve. Next, we'll come to the each set tone of the top. We will get as a two issue. What is the issue? Risk leadership and responding to bad news. This is as a most devastating scenario nowadays in the companies. We are hesitate to tell the bad news to the even for the team leads also, because we have some fear as a human fear. We have just common humans, so we have fear of telling that what is the bad news. But in the risk management fraternity, we should be the first in the bad news communication. That will in the initial stage, if you communicate it properly, there is so much of mitigation of risk in the coming future, near future, we can say. Then how we to respond to bad news? That is where the risk leadership will come to picture. The senior management to the importance of risk management, so that what does it feel like? Is direction provided to how risk management contribute to the business objective, visible and sustainable over time? Executive sponsor of risk management, what is tangible action are visible from the executive sponsor? These are the questions from auditors. Then once we are ready with the answers for these organizations, irrespective of company, irrespective of continent, irrespective of business, these are the common grounds. Then we can come to the conclusion. So, okay, these areas we need to improve. These are thought-provoking answers, thought-provoking questions for our alignment of ourselves. That is the major emphasis on these questions. And responding to let us encourage risk information and meet to proactive and rapidly communicated of the organization. Are whistleblowers and the rising concerns supported and celebrated? Whistleblowers is the term we can use it as a immediate action, quick actions. And in comes to risk governance, governance point of view, it is risk governance. Accountability and ownership management specific risk is clear. We have RASI matrix. Every role is defined for the each persons. Though they are accountable ownership for that task and that role. And as a person, we can say example as I'm a salesperson, what is my main concern is I am collecting, I'm going to the clients, I'm connecting their documents, I'm collecting their KYCs, and once they are coming, we are giving printouts, sharing printouts. The data is breaching at that point of time, because knowingly or unknowingly, we are doing and encouraging one risk at that point. Likewise, we need to recheck ourselves in our space, what I did wrong, what I am going, where I am going, heading, and what are my steps, what is the impact of this activity in the future sense.
Exactly, that's the question, Mr. Prasad.
Yes,
The RESI chart, which is the chart, guys.
yes,
It's the responsibilities, accountability,
yes,
and the for the persons who are dealing in the company. That's
yes,
why my question related to the culture, because
yes,
normally as a salesperson, you
yes.
collect the customer data, and
Mm,
intentionally or unintentionally you may leak this data to other colleagues. So
yes,
it's a part of the culture. You got
yes,
me? So yeah, so intensively how we can embed it, the RACI chart into the culture itself.
yes.
That's a big question for the Middle Eastern, by the way, and also the African countries,
Yeah.
because normally
Actually,
people, yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
Actually, we adapted one culture in the previous organization for that leakage. Actually, whatever the documentation from the team, from clients, we made one common platform. It is not visible only to the top management. Salesperson is only for the pitching itself. He is nowhere collecting any data for himself. Only he need to pitch and come back. Only whatever the customer is collecting, that is stored in the common platform at the accessible to the top management. The access control, we can say in IT, or accessibility to the, because we in the login also, we know some features only visible to the some of the people. The administration control. For that, we need to, that salesperson is good, but the that day one culture, what is the adoption in the practice, that it made him okay. There is no responsibility on me. Only rest will take care. I have to only take part for the sales pitch. Though some now the management will take care of the that data breaches. Even if because any, there is also mindset difference. The top management also will some doing the recent changes, we can say data breaches or cyber risks or anything. So even we need to arrest the flow of movement by putting some more control, and more encrypted ways, and more blockchain adoption. That way, we can reduce the risks that we practiced in the previous organization.
So basically, what you are saying is the people, process, and technology has to be engaged in this process, right?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
We need to adapt the right technology, right tool at the right moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. Correct.
And this, we can now we discuss the risk transparency. And the competency framework, we say risk resources, that the risk function have the access to senior management to deliver its remit. Is the risk function encouraged to facilitate discussions on key risk? Every person, every team member has more joyous and more encouraged to do if he has some facilitate by some other. We need to be recognized for someone for our deeds. So the facilitation movement with for every small win, that will made us focus on the actual works rather than doing bad. That I am observed with the HR team. We are interacting with the HR team. If people are more rewarded, there is less chances of risk. They will only focus on their championship. He wants to prove himself in the real work, not to the diversification and on the other scenarios. That is one area we need to follow. And risk decision making, is risk information transparent to decision makers in a timely manner? Is it possible to determine what boundaries and risk appetite criteria decisions are being made within? Is it possible to see how risk has been integrated into key decision makings? Decision making, okay, it's low level. In the key decision making, that will impact because anyway, any business will rely on the financial loss only. Whatever we are speaking, any loss, whether it will be reputational loss, or whether it will be supply chain risk, or it will be geopolitical, anything, that should directly link it to the financial link only. Wherever the financial is moving, there is a chance of risk happening. The flow of movement for the, what is the means, what is the urgent to the end customer, we have to see what is the best possible way for the leakage. Then we need to fill out that form. Then it will give the comprehensive structured approach in the risk management, risk culture in the organizations. Now we discuss the rewarding appropriate risk taking. We have rewarded and encouraged. And over as even that is, there is two possibility also. Balance, unbalanced risk behavior means risk aversion and risk seeking. That is human mindset. We need to stick, and we need to be nurture him so that there should not be any deviations from the alignment of the common objective.
And what about the opportunity risk?
Opportunity risk. Mhm.
What you mentioned, Mr. Prasad,
Ah,
that's all linked to financial risk, right?
yes, yes,
So basically here, for rewarding the appropriate risk taking, we have to consider the opportunities as well, because we call it as upper risk, right?
yes. Both way
The
in the risk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both way, absolutely, yeah.
Actually, what are the opportunities we can call it as? Actually, right now we can say as a basic example of COVID. It is threat for the normal people. For this, many business, almost 70-75% of business are impacted by COVID, and
Exactly, yeah.
and only healthcare, drug, and even related adjacent businesses are flourished like anything. Even in that also, there are some mischiefs happening with some companies for their individual makings, because there is reality we know what is the costing, but they are charging more. That we have, that is there. Even that 20-25% of that healthcare industry has flourished, like that is a major opportunity. Likewise, uh, like with is a day-to-day life we can check. Cab drivers are fixed for the some price. If it is raining, they will hike the price. They based on the supply and demand. That is basic principle works on the supply and demand.
Yes,
Demand is
yes,
there.
correct. As you mentioned, yeah,
Yeah.
as you mentioned, the uh, corona,
Yeah.
the corona era, it opens another opportunities it means the culture wise,
Yeah.
the Western people, they took the initiative of making remote services, let's say that security as a service, risk as a service. Remote works has gained a lot of opportunities.
Opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Many business, even Zoom, we know Zoom and our we can't use much earlier. After in the during COVID, we make habit to the technology, even for the small
Absolutely.
children,
Yeah.
even
So
small
so
children.
so the idea is that if you tackle the risk itself, you may get an upper risk, which is an opportunity,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Because they the brainstorm the decisions, what we can go ahead. That gives the opportunities, we can say. That is where the risk communication come into play. Because as a team, we are discussing our ideas. Will come, many ideas will come with a small group of 10 or 15 people. So we'll get some, we can draw the 15-20 ideas. In that, what is risk and what we should not do, and what we can do, what is more opportunities for us. We can bifurcate the SWOT analysis, the whatever the opportunities that we need to highlight. Every problem has solution. Likewise, every risk has the opportunity. We need to check the opportunity in the positive manner. This is IRM framework. Actually, we are talking, and now we can, how to measure the impact of risk culture. Now the we know that this is the theory part. Theoretically, that is good. How to measure the impact of risk culture? That is more important. The measuring impact, organization should establish a matrix. Now we know key risk indicators, KRIs. The KRIs should assess in the very periodic and iterative nature. Because one way, 1 week or one month, it should not be randomization, we can say, collect 10 samples. We should have a bulk of data to get the desired output. The metric should deepen that effectiveness, the culture, what they identify the areas of improvement. That we need to drill down the problems here and use cases so that we can establish the key area metrics, key risk indicators. Anyway, we are working on KPIs. Even now, the key risk indicators are more important for the assessment of the risk culture. And qualitative and quantitative measures can provide insights into how risk culture influences performance and decision making. We can do both qualitative and quantitative both. Quantity wise means numbering, quality. The small impact, how it will go the big impact in the likelihood of the risk. The likelihood we have to arrest. Regular surveys and feedback mechanism can help gauge employees' perception and awareness of risk management. Anyway, we are seeking that in the previous topics, regular feedback. We need to engage with the employees, everything. Refine strategies and an overall risk management program. Risk culture does not stop alone. It will impact our risk management, once organization's risk management assessment also. Whatever, because once that leader, like we can say as a CRO, chief risk officer, he just randomly he said something, some strategy. We are just simply, our team will simply follow. But it doesn't mean that he is good at, but we need to trust his expertise so that it is a trial and error method, we can say. But the likelihood and the impact should not hamper the organizational resilience or organization growth. We should continue the framework. We should be aligned with the governance. We should follow the regulatory advice. Like you mentioned, UAE and even in India and even for Africa, there are means in the previous historical data showing some bad natures and all, and there is chances of the bad mouthing from the people itself. So that should not be there. The culture and the mindset is we need to inculcate in each and every person, right from the office boy to top executive. Whatever the dignity of labor should inculcate with his mind. Okay, I'm manager, I'm doing my duties. That's all. He is executive, he is doing his duties. He has to perform. I has to perform. As office boy, he has to perform. That's all. There is no bias in that. We need to be uniform way. We are working on the same company. We are working for our goals. That's all.
Yeah,
And
and also we have to put into consideration the corruption risk as well.
corruption is yes. That is a more important. Actually, people are in the bad sense that will align. That will happen if I go there. That we need to stop at the entry point. We need to be strengthen the rules. Okay, well, I'll come on. I'll say one. Just for idea, what is the culture? What will happen as an overview? Support and strength and employee behavior, tone of. We are speaking now. I'll just correlate all the parameters what we can consider as a behaviors and all. Tone of the values, strategy, priorities, behavior, commission, style, problem solving, teamwork, attitudes, these are come to the employee behavior. That is inside, not the external. That is internal feelings and internal efforts, beliefs, values, what we can say. The internal should match with the external. External means fellow colleague. So they should be in the same phase. Once the same, when it will come with the support system from the top management. The top layer was we can say tools, goals, accountability, recognition, organ structure, code of conduct. Here, the code of conduct and ethics should practice everyone. We need to make,
Here, Mr. Prasad, another question.
yeah,
What is the role of the CHO, the Chief HR Officer,
yeah,
on this?
yes, yes. Actually, two major concerns with the CHRO. Actually, he is a part of risk team as well. In some of the organizations, they give the more priority itself because HRO means is the human resource management. It is the backbone of the new entrant to join the organization. Once you assess at the front layer, they need to filter the right candidate, right mindset people into the welcome the into the organization. Their first step. Every department as a, like your CHRO, they have some set of rules for the manuals. That manuals we need to check the apart from the technical expertise and also the assessment of the psychometric psychological aspects also. Now some of the MNCs are for practicing this before the technical rounds, so they are evaluating the how you react at this particular scenario for the situation, whether you are a leadership skill, whether you have taken accountability for your deeds, whether you are ready to take up the negative, how you work on a stress environment. These evaluations bring and filter the right candidate for the next layer. The HCHRO come into the picture now. He needs to filter out the right candidates and bring to the organizations. Whatever the positiveness he has, he should not hamper and he should not decline in the downward. Whatever the team he is joining, they should in this similar line.
Okay,
Because
so what you
that
are
is,
saying, since beginning, since the joinment for the employee, this should be tackled, right? And should
yes,
be
yes,
embedded into their culture. I
yes,
mean, the main rule for the HR is to sustain the company culture, right? So basically, yeah, his efforts will be highly intended into this, right?
exactly. Because previous organization don't know how we work, but in our organization, you should be aligned with our organization goals and objectives. We should be prepared him so that both will be speak in the same language. We need to nurture and tune them. That is the starting point of any culture differentiation or cultural shift. And lastly, we can talk on are a maturity framework. Now we are till now we speak in what is the risk culture, how we do, and now this is the level of maturity in the organization. Based on that, even the see my risk culture it depends on the what organization I'm working for. If an organization has some set of rules or standards, then I follow strictly. So there are 5 layers in the company itself, the maturity levels of this culture, so that at the risk point, risk perspective, in the perspective of risk, at the what stage they are. Now their level of maturity ad hoc, no structured efforts, seen as unnecessary expenses because this is costly affair. As with the risk separate department, we need to keep a risk management. Some we need to some 3 to 4 team members. So they will thought, okay, this is not necessary for keeping the expenses for the risk management team. No risk interest of risk management, no tracking of risk management, no training, no performance, no HR support. Here, rightly you ask CHRO. HR support is the prime function in any organization because company operations, sales, and everything, where the comes, he will the first touch point will be HR support only. Unless HR is not contact to the other person, he is no aware concern to the organization. He is the first point of contact. He knows through you only. Through HR only we know it's the our company. He is the brand in the oversight, no standard reporting. Now, any risk management will rely on the risk reporting structures because that visibility give us what the assessment and gap areas we need to improve. The standard reporting structure we need to adopt. and comes to initial, okay, therefore, about the regulatory compliance framework, compliance perspective, they made some rules. Initial policy and process defined, rules-based approach, partial defined, okay, implementation level, okay, material circulated, because it's a formal way. This is as for formality, they made it, but not in the implementation stage. Here, a good point is new staff is trained. At least, at least, new staff is trained so that he will stick to the organization. That's all. Monitored by exception. If it monitored by exception means whenever the risk comes, they will go back to the books. They will go back books and come back to the okay. This control has to implement. There is no foresight. There is no forecasting in it at all, and no repeatability. Practical guidance provided, proactive approach, clearly defined roles. I mean, drive implementation, coordinated driving provided, risk when integrated into all training, and business units monitor own risk. Here we can say each business units have own set of rules, own set of risks. In the oversight, in the repeatable mode, they are no they know that what their own risk comes. For that, that is a good point, at least to start and to implement the risk culture more and manage compliance, risk management embedded. This is, we can say, 80 to 90% at par with the maturity. Now it comes to the excellence. Risk management central to decision making. User for strategy advantage. Manage pursue risk unconsciously. Board and CEO drive a risk agenda. Here we know in the risk team and risk committee we form. Board is there, risk chapter is there, and risk manager will be there. Risk project owners are there, risk owners are there, risk committee is there. So each hierarchy level, they have embedded the risk culture. And training focus on the best practices, risk adjust performance measured, risk management seamlessly integrated in nature, business driven by key risk indicators. So whatever I said yesterday, I mean previous time, key risk indicators, that is the most driving factors. The metrics should not be same with the organizations. We can change, we can alter, we can customize, because what is your business need, what is into, what is industry you are into, and how you are going to facing the customer, and what the financial conditions we are floating, whether you are picking public money and you are using yourself purpose intentionally, whether it is using at par with the government or compliance framework wise, we need to check the complete scenario. So based on these levels, we'll assess this is the parameters we can consider what my organization at is what level. One should adapt, because as a risk leader, we should know the at what stage, what maturity stage we have. For the upliftment of the next stage, what are the parameters we need to check? And what stage, what are measurements, and what steps we need to take care to go into the, because it's not a one-day process. It is ongoing and day-to-day, but it is achievable. We can say it is achievable because there is no much traction, because the almost copy paste. Earlier we discussed with the frameworks integration into the country-wise differentiation. Actually, I have one resource I will share after our meeting in the country-wise how we need to adopt the culture and the finance banks and all, even for the industry's point of view also. We have
Perfect. Perfect.
that data. I will
Yeah.
share that.
Perfect. Thank you.
And now comes to the organizational resilience. The resilience will come as a overview. Now, risk culture we have adapted. Now, what is the my idea of resilience? how I can go. That I will give some pointers so that we'll self-assess ourselves to adapt and to implement the same characters and same factors in my role in the day-to-day life. The thought process in whatever the 13, 14 people attended, at least we should rethink of our mindset so that, okay, we can adapt these factors, we can change this factor. At least we can train this new persons. Okay, at least some thought process. So for that reason, I mentioned this. The seven C's of resilience: competence, how to handle challenges effectively, confidence, connection, character, contribution, coping, and control. Here, the contribution and copying, these two parameters we should consider more related to our individual character. How far we have control, how far we have contributed to the organization growth. That we need to self-assess and every day. The five pillars we can say: purpose, relationship, self-care, mindfulness, and self-awareness. Here also, it is a behavioral attitudes point of view. We should be self-aware because as a human, we matured. Like is ERM also given maturity framework for the companies. Here, it is for the ourselves as a humans. We should be in a mindfulness and self-awareness, whatever they're doing, whatever tasks we're doing. We're self-care and the relationship we are forming with the among with our peers and the purpose. Building tips. What my takeaways from these scenario is: top six resilience building tips is stay connected with others, exchange the ideas, set achievable goals, and focus on the controllables because internal we can control, external we can't control. Like our tsunamis or anything, any natural disasters, we can't control external factors, but we can control the inside, my beliefs, my thoughts, that we can control. That controllable we can change and embrace the change. Always ready for the change because the mindset shift and adaptability is always there because one organization will follow one rule, one organization will follow. The mindset shift from one to one, it is a big factor. Many should not, is not easy for many people, but we need to prepare because psychologically we will prepare for that and build emotional awareness. Emotional and empathy, we can say, or sympathy. It's not sympathy, you can say empathy. So, not directly connected with the problem. We have to connect with the surrounding environments. We can say in the emotional awareness, what it is. We have to connect with the environment so that that will give us idea, okay, what is good and what is bad. Even our culture, whatever you are learning from the birth, that will give us more into the job also. Uh, Thank you. Can I stop the presentation?
Yes, sure, Mr. Prasad.
Yeah, this is my presentation
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
uh,
it's
of how far you are liking or no,
yeah,
please.
absolutely. It's very informative. It shows all the aspects how to adopt the proper risk culture in different era and also to be agile.
Yes,
Basically, I've seen this side. Yeah,
yes,
this is very informative, and we thank you very much. We will open the questions. If
yeah.
anybody has any question, guys, you can please raise your hand or you start asking.
Yes, please, you can ask.
You can write your question as well in the text. I can
Yeah,
read it to Mr.
in the
Prasad.
chat box also you can
Yeah,
write,
absolutely,
we'll answer.
absolutely. If there is any question, yes, please raise it.
It is not a one-way job. So I am open to any further rounds, further specific topic also. I will next week. I'll prepare myself for the next what is the targeted area. So we can think on and we can discuss, because not more than a presentation, we can engage and discuss the what we can do best.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And also, Mr. Prasad, we have a community website. It's called community.linkinsd.com.
Yeah.
You can also contribute into that. You can
Definitely.
just sign in into our community portal, and
Yes.
you can share your insight into that. Basically, it's very, very, very informative, and we are happy for your collaboration with
Thank
LinkedIn community, and we are hoping for next session to be very soon, inshallah. Okay,
thank you.
and we are also open for you
Yeah.
if you want to share any kind of insightful. We have a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
You can join us. I'll share with you that,
Yeah.
as well
You
as
can
we'll
share. I
expect
will
your.
join. I will join that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't bother, because we speak in Arabic sometimes. Okay, so
Yeah.
most
No
of the
worry. No worry.
Sudanese they speak in
Yes,
Arabic.
please, please.
Yeah,
Even
absolutely,
I tell.
absolutely.
I will learn something that we need to be agile, because
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. That's why I ask you how we adopt these cultures, the
yes, yes,
Western cultures into our Eastern cultures. Yeah. So
exactly.
yeah, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And this session will be recorded. It will be shared also in our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
We'll share it in our community as well as in our LinkedIn page. And we are very happy to collaborate with RiskGuard in future projects, inshallah.
definitely,
Okay.
definitely. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, team.
Thank you very much for the informative. Baha is having a question. I think he collapsed for you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for this, and thank you everybody you joined. We'll expect. We have another session by 8 o'clock. We'll start it as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Please.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Prasad. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.